song American Pie about, and how did you come up with it?
Well, American Pie is about a lot of things, and I came up with it. It came up through the workings of my strange mind. My mind is full of useless details and facts, and I wanted to write a song about America, and I wanted to write a song that was different from any song that ever had been written before, which is what I try to do with every song I ever write. I had no idea that the song would be successful, or that everybody would know it, or that anybody would know it. But um, I had a very good record producer who made a very good record, and we rehearsed for about 3 months. And I mean that we worked so that I was working well with the band because I was not a band singer at that point. I am now, have been for many many years, but at that point, I didn't take bands on the road or anything. And then we made this record, and magic happened when this guy named Paul Griffin, a piano player, came in the studio and suddenly got this groove going, this rock and roll groove on this piano. And man, we had this thing nailed. And so we made a hit record. So without a hit record, you wouldn't be talking about the song. And it was very easy for us not to have made a hit record because for those 3 months, nobody knew how to play that song, just from a musical point of view. As far as what I was doing, I was trying to write an anthem that was different from any that had ever been before, and so I made it in a dream sequence, imaginary things happening, but moving forward from innocence to decadence, and um, connecting politics with music, which is always the case, really, because the population elects the person that represents them, they feel, and the music is their expression of themselves. So you're always going to find that. So now, in the old days, we had JFK and we had Bob Dylan, a literate, intelligent, thoughtful individual, and the same kind of president. Lastly, we had a man who believes in nothing and doesn't believe in anybody and is pointless and irrelevant. And you have pointless, irrelevant music to go with it. So I've had 50 years to see my theory prove out.
What will be the latest album that you'll release?
I'm going to release an album called American Boys. It's a song I wrote. It's a very obvious, fun song about American boys invented rock and roll. And I've never done a song like that, but my guitar player worked on this and I finished it. So we've done it together. And then there'll be a dozen other songs, and that's going to be the title of the album, and it's going to come out this year.
Are there any instruments that you've always wanted to play?
No, I am a singer primarily. I'm in love with guitars. I love jazz guitar, flamenco guitar, folk guitar when it's played well. I have right in my room with me now 7 guitars, right on stands all around me here. I'm a guitar player. I'm also a 5-string banjo player, and I made my living from 1960 until 1985, I would say, with guitar and banjo. And when I became famous, I was a soloist. You can go on YouTube and see me at Royal Albert Hall sing with just guitar, or get the audience singing on the song Babylon with the banjo. That's what I used to do.
Did you have fun writing the song Vincent?
Well, I don't think it was fun. To be quite honest, I was just getting started. I was very tired. I'd worked very hard. I was in a bad marriage. And so that was causing me constant annoyance. And so, no, I don't think I was having fun, but I was excited, about finding this idea and creating the song. And I was looking for song ideas like crazy, because I had this second album. I'd already made the album Tapestry, and there are a lot of songs on there. And I Love You So, Castles in the Air. The song Tapestry is actually about the environment. It's the only song I sing about the environment, that every thread of creation is held in position. Each thing is related to something else, which is the sad fact that we're finding out now, as we have not taken care of things as we should have. But no, I wouldn't say I was had fun writing it. No.
What inspired you to grow up to be a musician?
Elvis Presley. I wanted to play guitar, and I wanted to. When I saw him, I wanted to be a romantic figure. I didn't want to be a normal person, and there weren't a lot of options for me, because the one thing that I could do is sing, but I never dreamed that I would be a good guitar player, a good performer, and a good songwriter. That developed later as I yearned to do more things, but it was guitar has always been something that I've learned how to use it for what I want it for, but I don't really know how to play the guitar like a great guitar player would know. Know the fingerboard and all sorts of subtle chord changes. The real guitar players are guys that play in like the bassy band, and where they play a different chord for every note of a song. Those are really guys really know the instrument. Or the jazz players like Wes Montgomery or Tal Farlow, or and these I love all those guys, and I love guitar played by really good people. You really don't see that today. You see, I mean, um, Keith Richards is a great rock and roll guitar player, and a great guitar player, and a very wonderful, smart person who really says interesting things about it. And but he's limited to what he does, and that's what me. I'm limited to what I do, and it is limited. But I love to look at someone like Carlos Montoya or Sabicas, these great flamenco guitarists. I mean, you can't imagine how anybody could play like this and make this kind of music out of this wonderful instrument. But the instrument, the guitar, has really been my ticket, to stardom, to the moon, really.
Have you ever produced music videos?
Yeah, I made one music video. I didn't produce it, but it was a song called Headroom, and you can see that on a DVD called American Troubadour. It's a really good song. I love the song, and they made a really good video. I love the video. Maybe you can find it on YouTube, Headroom, the video.
What were some of your favorite people and projects to work with?
Throughout my life, well, gee whiz, the Jordanaires were really wonderful. I made two albums with them, and I did three appearances at Carnegie Hall with them, and we did a television special in the UK for the BBC called Don McLean and Friends. I loved working with them. That was such an honor and a thrill. Working with Pete Seeger, I produced and helped produced an album of sea shanties for the Hudson River Sloop, and I also helped to make a book of sea shanties, with a man named Tom Allen, who was a great illustrator who did all the illustrations of Flatt and Scruggs for Columbia Records, and who was one of my really good friends. And so we did that. Um, I liked, I don't know, there's been a bunch of things through the years. Making records with Joel Dorn, who was a genius and a great record producer, produced over 200 jazz albums with the most amazing jazz heavyweights. We made an album called Homeless Brother, which we both liked a lot. And and now I'm working with a bunch of people, to do this documentary movie, and I'm working with Mike Sievers, a guitar player and producer in Nashville, on the new album. We've also made another two albums before. Botanical Gardens and Addicted to Black are both Mike Sievers and me, and him as producer. So those have been projects I've loved working on them. And I know so many people in Nashville, guitar players and background singers, and legal people are there. My lawyer has been there, has been my lawyer for almost 40 years.
Will you be doing concert tours anytime soon?
Geez, I hope so, but I don't really know. It's not up to me. Countries are opening, countries are closing. Um, it's just so random that I can't imagine. I suppose there'll come a point when somebody's got to put a stamp of approval on this and say, look, let's get out and go to work and forget it. You know what I mean? Wear your mask and take your chances. It's over.
What's your favorite genre of music?
I have three favorites: folk music, early rock and roll, the 1950s, and popular music, big band music, music like, all the pop songs, Irving Berlin, Ira Gershwin, Jerome Kern, show tunes, beautiful music. I like beautiful things, is what it comes down to. I like beautiful things. I don't like ugly things. And there's a lot of ugly music around now, and a lot of ugly sentiment and thought, and a lot of ugly, nasty people doing a lot of ugly things. And I don't like any of it.
Are you still a big fan of Buddy Holly?
Yes, I am as big a fan of Buddy Holly as I ever was. That's right.